I've been looking for a term that better describes my position on such things as the existence of God, souls, ghosts, fairies, Bigfoot, aliens, and or any possible claim, be it supernatural or plain natural, that can or has been made. And the term atheist is just not sufficient. For one thing, there's an ongoing argument over what the definition for atheist actually is. Most people who call themselves atheist would say it means someone who is without a belief in God or gods. Whereas many people who call themselves theists or Christians would say it means someone who believes there is no God. However, for me, the real problem with the term atheist is that it's pretty much constrained to the question of belief in deities and not much else. So in order for a term to better identify my position, it would have to meet certain criteria in its definition. What then does such a term need to qualify? I have identified 3 criteria the term must address to suit my needs, and those criteria are: Number 1, identify that I do not hold a belief in any claim that lacks conclusive evidence. Number 2, separate myself from those who believe or assert without evidence that certain things do not exist. And number 3, explain why I do or do not hold a belief in whatever it is I do or do not hold a belief in. So began my search for a new term. I looked up terms like theist, atheist, belief, disbelief, unbelief, etc., and looked up Greek and Latin versions for them. But it wasn't until Bionic Dance came out with her videos, A Pissed Off Pistevist and Anti-Pistevist, that I came to realize she had presented what it was I had been looking for. She had taken the prefix a, meaning not or without, and combined it with the Greek word for faith, which is pisti or pistos, and came up with a pistevist, meaning one who is without faith. Then later she posted an update video where she explained that it had been pointed out to her that although she was indeed an apistevist, she was also an anti-pistevist, meaning not only was she without faith, she was also against faith. And this was it. This was the term that I had been searching for. Anti-Pistevist. So now I'll explain how this is the term I was looking for and how it meets all the requirements I need. Let's start by looking at the word faith. The definition for the word faith, as it relates to theism, is loosely acceptance without evidence. Now let's look at some dictionary definitions for the term faith. So here we are at Merriam-Webster's online dictionary. You can see that we've done a search here for the term faith, and we'll zoom in a little bit closer on the resultants, and you can see that there are 3 main entries here, and the entries do have some sub-entries. We'll look at definition number 1. It says allegiance to duty or person, as in loyalty. Entry B, fidelity to one's promises, a sincerity of intentions. And then definition 2, a belief and trust and loyalty to God, belief in traditional doctrines of religion. And then part B, firm belief in something for which there is no proof, complete trust. And then definition 3, something that is believed especially with strong conviction, especially a system of religious beliefs as in the Protestant faith. And now let's take a look at dictionary.com's entry for the term faith. We can see that there's several entries here. We'll go over them quickly. Definition number 1, confidence or trust in a person or thing. Number 2, belief that is not based on proof. Number 3, belief in God or in the doctrines or teachings of a religion. Number 4, belief in anything as a code of ethics, standards of merit. Number 5, a system of religious belief. Number 6, the obligation of loyalty or fidelity to a person, promise, or engagement. Number 7, the observance of this obligation, fidelity to one's promises, oath, and allegiance. And number 8, Christian theology, the truth in God and his promises as made through Christ and the scriptures by which humans are justified or saved. So here we are at the World English Dictionary, and we have our entries for the term faith up. We'll take a quick look at them. Number 1, a strong or unshakable belief in something, especially without proof or evidence. Number 2, a specific system of religious beliefs, such as the Jewish faith. Number 3, Christianity, trust in God and His actions and promises. Number 4, a conviction of the truth of certain doctrines of religion, especially when this is not based on reason. Number 5, complete confidence or trust in a person, remedy, etc. Number 6, any set of firmly held principles or beliefs. Number 7, allegiance or loyalty as to a person or cause. And number 8 speaks of bad faith, insincerity or dishonesty. Number 9, good faith, honesty or sincerity as of intention of business. I'm going to wrap up the dictionary definitions with the Oxford Dictionaries online. Here we can see we're looking at the word faith, and there are 2 main entries. Number 1, complete trust or confidence in someone or something, and number 2, strong belief in God or in the doctrines of a religion based on spiritual apprehension rather than proof. You might have noticed that nowhere in any of these definitions does a basis on evidence appear. Now let's take a quick look at where we get the term Anti-Pistevist. Although I did originally get the term from Bionic Dance, I thought it would be a good idea to include a demonstration from a couple of Greek translation websites that pisti is an actual Greek word. I went to dictionary.org and kypros.org and translated the term faith into Greek. As you can see here from both websites, the results yielded the Greek word pisti. So one who is against faith is an anti-Pistevist. So does the term anti-Pistevist meet my criteria? The first of 3 criterion identifies that I do not hold a belief in any claim that lacks conclusive evidence. Being against the acceptance of claims as true that lack evidence, I cannot hold a belief until evidence has been verified conclusively. Criterion 2 separates me from those who believe or assert without evidence that certain things do not exist. Since God does not exist is a claim, I cannot accept it as true until conclusive evidence has been verified. Criterion number 3 explains why I do or do not hold a belief in whatever it is I do or do not hold a belief in. That I hold or do not hold a belief is explained by whether or not evidence has been conclusively verified. One of the best things about the term anti-Pistevist is it applies seemingly to virtually every claim that ever has been made or ever can be made. For example, electricity is real. There is conclusive evidence that electricity is real. There is a pot of gold at the end of every rainbow. There has been no conclusive evidence to justify a belief in a pot of gold at the end of any rainbow. Bacteria is real. There is conclusive proof for bacteria. The anti-Pistevist approach seems to work for every claim. So what would be my definition for anti-Pistevist if I were to write an entry for it in a dictionary? Anti-Pistevist. One who refuses to accept as true claims that lack conclusive evidence to support the claim. Number 2. One who is against using faith as a means of determining what is true or real. And number 3, one who only accepts as true those claims that have been supported by conclusive evidence. So does this mean I have no faith? Well, technically, some definitions of faith include things like complete trust or confidence in someone or something. I actually simply call this confidence. I have confidence there will be daylight tomorrow based not on faith, but on evidence and experience from past events and scientific exploration. I prefer to say I have confidence in my family and friends rather than faith, but I do accept that faith is not exclusively about the acceptance of things unproven. It's just that in the case of the unproven, that's the kind of faith that I'm against.